All right, let's welcome in our good friend, a guy who knows a little something about great restaurants, the great Rich Hollenberg, joining us here. What's up, Rich? How are you?
How are you, JP? This is a self-service show. I had to weasel my way into StreamYard to get on with
it. Well, you did it. You did it. You found us. It's fantastic. I think I know why there's a new background for you. We haven't had you on since the storm, and I know you went through a hell of a lot over there.
Yes, sir. We are in the final stages. Almost 8 months later. Isn't that crazy? But
my good friend Jeff Italiano, he just posted something the other day. Like, we finally get to sit down for a meal in our own kitchen. Yeah, I'm like, wow.
I'm back in my office for the first time. Haven't even had a chance to hang my Springsteen picture.
I see that. Yes, I see that. I see the boss and the big man behind you there. Back in the better days.
That's right.
For the boss. How are you, partner? It's good to see you.
It's good to be seen. Great.
No heat stroke from the post-game show yesterday?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It was hot. I was there at the game yesterday. It was
hot.
That was a hot one. That was hot. Yeah. We don't need day games are going to be a little hard from here on out.
I'm sure you probably saw Mark Topkin's article. It was only the second game that was not at least an announced air quotes sellout. I think that we will see at least a small handful more of those based on the weather.
Yeah, it is what it is. But the fact that they've had 26 of 29 or 28, 7 of 29 or something like that, that's pretty good. And all the season tickets were sold for the most part. So I think it's been a good response in Tampa. Would you agree?
Yes. And I think everybody has done what everybody should do, which is embrace it, because it's not going to change.
Right.
So it takes just as much energy to celebrate it than to bitch about it. So why, wallow in the mire and complain when there's nothing good that can come of it at this point?
Yeah. Of course, I was up in a suite yesterday with temperature control in the shade, eating Kobe burgers and having beers. So it was fine for me. I don't know what everybody's bitching about.
Yeah, it was optimal for JP.
Yes, it was indeed. Well, that's how you do the game. So I'm just trying to take after you. Right. But what I thought, as opposed to some other games, and I don't need to tell you this, yesterday was entertaining as hell. That was fun to watch. That was really, really fun to watch. Both teams really. The Astros, not watching Paredes hit bombs, maybe not, in an ironic kind of way, not so fun. But that was a fun game to watch. It was entertaining. Yeah. We finally got some offense.
I will say this. I wouldn't say it's the only game or the first game at home this season. Probably the second, because I think back to that game where they came back and won against the Yankees 10-8 a few weeks back. But other than that game, this was the first game where it was like Steinbrenner Field was on display.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone kept saying coming into this season, the ball's going to be flying all over the place, flying out of the ball yard. And we saw that from the visitors for most of this homestand of the season. But we didn't see it much from the Rays. And yesterday we did. 4 home runs. I don't think they've done that in a few years in a game, which was good to see. And look, obviously, Isaac Paredes and company knocked a couple out of the ballpark too, but that was a complete win. And that is optimal Tampa Bay Rays. You get, pitching from Taj Bradley, despite that 2-run home run that he gave up to Isaac, he was really, really sharp. And then the bullpen comes in and gives up all but, I think, 2 hits and a couple of runs late. But you know what? The offense backed them up. And that is not something that we've been able to talk about this year much, if not at all. So you had great defense. You had just stellar pitching, if not spectacular. And anytime you score 8 runs, you're going to win a ball game 99% of the time. I want to say the Rays are now 14-1 when they score 5 or more runs.
Just 5. Wow. That's a hell of a stat right there. And, some of those home runs were, I'd say, win-aided. Is that like Bilau's home run was funny. Like, that was funny. His reaction, even the call on TV, I think it was Andy Fried's call. Like, he was shocked.
Yeah.
thing you do as a play-by-play guy, as you know, is you look at the outfielder, right?
Right.
The outfielder's not moving. It's like he's camping under this, and Bilal put his head down. You're like, okay, fly ball. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's the time. That's the rare time when a home run call ends in a question mark instead of an exclamation point.
Yes. Well said. Well said. But that's going to be part of it. Do you think the Heat yesterday was part of that? The ball 100%. Going out? And
the thing that surprised me, the Heat shouldn't and doesn't surprise any of us, right? We all live here. We know. But I think the wind is something that is real, and I didn't know about that until I started broadcasting from the field at the start of this season. There is a constant breeze inside Steinbrenner Field, and that breeze can very quickly and capriciously turn into gusts at any given time. And Brian Anderson, our terrific analyst, always likes to poke fun at our director, Gary Nichols, because Gary likes to take shots of the flags blowing out.
Flagpole,
he never had that in 28 years covering the Tampa Bay Rays. And he always makes fun of Gary Nichols, saying, oh, our director is taking shots of the clouds and the sky and the flags. But
take advantage of it while you can. Yeah.
It plays a part in the game. It certainly does.
Yeah, and those flags were at times really going yesterday. And I think, and I know D-Win's mentioned this a couple times, the fact that there's not an upper deck, which is rare, obviously, in major league stadiums, makes a difference.
Yeah,
right.
Doesn't protect you from the elements blowing in or blowing out.
Yeah, and it's like it was even because sitting on the third base line, you could see the balls that go to left field just die. Even Itzhak Paredes, the first one, I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's going to get out, and he crushed that ball. Yeah. You could see it like hit the zenith, and it just starts to die. It's like one of my pitching wedges. And it starts almost coming back at you, and
flop shot,
yeah. And I'm like, oh, but again, now the second one he hit was that cut through the air pretty good, but the balls to right field, even the one Curtis Mead hit, which started at like center field, and it just took the wind and it went right out. So, and now at some point it seems Yandy's got the hang of this. The right-handers are going to just start feeding that ball into the jet stream. And is it something that they work on pregame, going the opposite way, getting the ball up in the air?
Yeah, that's a great question, JP. And it's something that we talked about on our shows from Jump Street. Doug brought this up right at the beginning of the season because we're thinking Brandon Lau's going to hit 40 bombs. Josh Lowe's going to hit 30 bombs. All the lefty bats are going to benefit. And Doug was the first one to bring it up. He said, watch out for Junior Caminero.
Right.
Because Junior's natural swing is not a pull power swing. It's going to center and to right. And Yandy's been doing that ever since he stepped foot on a baseball field. Yeah. That's also, vintage Yandy Diaz. Love to see him lift the ball just a little bit more, especially given the elements and the circumstances.
God, yes.
And we're starting to see that a little bit. But, Yandy's swing is always, he's going to go center to right, inside out.
And flat.
And I think
I love his level swing. Yeah, that thing is just, it's beautiful.
From Junior Caminero. Right now, Junior has 8 home runs, and all of his home. Remember how we used to love Itzhak Paredes, speaking of, because every one of his moonshots would go to left.
Pull left.
We would track that on Google Cloud, on StatCast 3D, and it's like you could just draw one line because they're all the same. Well, Junior is similar, but Junior's all going to center and right center, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
Yeah, he's really and Yandy hit the ball hard, I think, 3 or 4 times yesterday, not just – and that one to center field. Wow.
Woo.
That was about 30 feet up.
He's hit in a Rays uniform.
Yeah, that was about 30 feet up the batter's eye wall. That was a bomb.
Right.
Yeah, and fun to see. And I got to ask you about this. So I think it was Simpson was on third with 1 out yesterday. And this contact play, is this the law for Rays baseball? It's like, can we not see what? Maybe we'll wait to see if it gets through. Nah, we're going. Like every time we have to do this.
This is what troubles me. Is that you and I are so like-minded on stuff.
We're old school baseball people.
That really does scare me, Jake.
Yeah, I know.
In all the years,
we grew up at the same time when our little league coach was like, freeze on a line drive, wait to see it go through, and then you go. I'm like, what? This elementary baseball, but how many times have we been thrown out at the plate with less than 2 outs?
I know. We started tracking it, and we haven't followed up on it in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. But the Rays did lead all of Major League Baseball in outs on the base paths. And I didn't realize this until I looked that stat up. That outs on the base paths does not include caught stealing. And the Rays have been caught stealing a bunch too. Now, some of this, and I'm not, me, I'm not an apologist for the team I cover.
You are not.
Some of this is because they went into this season just like they went into last season. We are going to be aggressive on the base paths, full stop. They don't draw a line between here's the situation, here's who's at third base running right now, here's who's at the plate trying to execute this contact play. I think they have it in their head that we know who we are. We don't score a lot of runs, given notwithstanding yesterday.
Maybe that's part of the reason.
Every time we get in this position, this is what we are going to do. And from our perspective, and let's take away the fact that we are media members covering the team, just as baseball fans, you look at it and it could get maddening. Like, why are they doing this every single time?
Running into outs at home plate and foul by 10 feet.
At some point, as Joe Madden used to always say, water will find its level. And at some point, they're going to go on a rip here where over the course of 2 weeks, they're going to run 5 contact plays and they're going to score all 5 times. And we're going to be sitting here with our hat in our hands going, oh, it makes sense now.
We're looking forward to that day.
I know.
No question about it. Rich Hollenberg joining us here. By the way, you have lots of fans in our comments today. Our great friend Emily Peters said, my 2 favorite guys right there. And then Daniel Rivera says, I remember seeing Rich on the old Vision Cable way back when. Vision Cable. I thought he was going to go the old Daily Sports Source, but Vision Cable.
Vision Cable even predates you and me working together. Yeah. Which, by the way, I will say this, JP. Jill in the other room, when I told her I was coming in here to talk to you, she said, you and BF and JP need to have a podcast together.
Yes.
Just putting it out there.
Yes, 100%. 100%. I have this beautiful studio now here in South Tampa, so come on over. I'll even buy you lunch. It'll be fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? I'll make Fasulo buy it. He's rich now.
Right. Get it catered from Cafe Paradiso.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll get Paulo to come and we get another mic and let him yell and scream.
I love it. You're speaking my love language.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Fantastic. Yeah, that's got to happen. And also, Daniel brings up another famous alum of the Newhouse School of Syracuse, the Rich went to Mike Tirico et al. Yeah, so many more. So absolutely, yes, we he's bringing. There it is. Yeah, and Fasula's daughter Avery just graduated from Syracuse.
How about that? Right
there, you go.
Yeah,
it all comes full circle. All right, so as we move forward here to the dog days of summer, you guys are hopefully going back in the studio to cool off. Yeah, are you gonna keep doing shows out there?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to be selective about the shows we choose. We just started having, some conversations about next weekend when obviously Evan Longoria is going to have his ceremonial retirement announcement. So it feels to me like it would be important to be there for that.
Yeah,
I know after covering him for so long, I would like to be there for that. And we're going to have to be selective because Mother Nature is ultimately going to have its say. Mm-hmm. If it comes down to even a drop of rain or the threat of a drop of rain, that means it's rain delay theater, and I star in that play. So we need a studio for rain delay theater. And fortunately, it's only 10 minutes away from Steinbrenner Field, so there could be some fluidity in those decisions.
Yeah, somebody who just asked where you guys do that, and the studio is not far from Steinbrenner. It's up off of Waters, I believe, right? We can't give you the exact location, Thomas, because people like you will be stalking my man here. Absolutely. Tim, you have anything for Rich you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I wanted to talk a little Chandler Simpson, Rich. He's sort of, the the favorite now, a fan favorite, clearly for good reason. He's not even at 100 at-bats yet for the season, but I feel like he's quickly earning his way into a full-time lineup situation. I know they're kind of hiding him a little bit and not letting him play in certain situations against certain pitchers. How long before, in a season where the Rays are really struggling right now offensively, are they just going to throw him in there and say, let's see what you got against everybody?
It's a great question, Tim. And by the way, it's nice to meet you and good to talk to you.
Yes, you too as well.
I think that I think they are being judicious with their use of Chandler Simpson at this point. He's only 24 years old. This is his first real taste of what it's like to be part of a major league roster. But the more you see him play, I mean, dude's on a 7-game hitting streak right now. He's not all about the bags.
Yeah. No,
he's got a hit tool.
He can hit.
And what we say at FanDuel Sports Network, and I credit BA with this, he said, every hit with Chandler Simpson is an extra base hit. Not because he's hitting doubles and triples, but because you put that dude on first base and you can almost lock it in that he's going to be on second, if not third. Now, he has gotten caught a couple of times, which shocks everybody knowing his minor league stolen base numbers. But I think that goes along with a little bit of a learning curve. Mm-hmm. And the problem is we've become so used to seeing and succeeding with Yandy in the leadoff spot. Then it's like, well, do you put Chandler second in the lineup? Because that doesn't really make sense. You want more of a power back in the second.
He should be first. This Yandy in the leadoff spot drives me crazy too.
Well, could and should are two different things. I think he could, and I think what you're going to see more of the Rays doing and Kevin Cash and company deciding is looking at who's pitching, looking at the opposition, and playing the matchups that way. And that's what they specialize in. That's what they hang their hat on anyway, with their pitching staff and otherwise. Yesterday was a perfect example. You look at that lineup and you're like scratching your head. You're like, they're going out and trying to win a series against the Astros with the lineup the way it's constructed. And you walk away.
Exactly what I said on the show yesterday.
Push all the right buttons. What a genius. That's baseball.
100%. I'm like, Simpson in the 6 hole?
Yeah,
That's
you're going to get some of those. But it worked. And the one thing more than anything else that the Tampa Bay Rays value is versatility.
Yeah.
And the more they can mix things up, the more they feel like they keep the opposition on their heels. And when you keep your opposition on your heels with the kind of pitching that the Rays have, I think they feel like they give themselves the best chance to win. That said, to your point, Tim, I think it will be sooner than later that we'll see Chandler Simpson either in the 9 hole or the 1 hole on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, I'd like to see a Yandy in 2 or 3 holes so that he can, when he hits those singles, and he's not a power hitter,
right? Yesterday,
notwithstanding, those singles will mean more. Is because I don't think there's that many when you got guys in the bottom half of the lineup that are hitting 098. Oh wait, I'm sorry, 088. My bad, Ben. Sorry. My bad.
Wow.
By the way, Danny Jansen on base 22 of the last 23 games.
Yes, I was bitching about that yesterday. I'm like, yeah, I know, night game, day game, the backup catcher plays. Danny Jansen's finally getting hot. You got a day off on Thursday. You asked Danny if he wants to play yesterday, he'd probably say, yeah, I definitely want to play. But we had to put 088 out there, so that's fine. But that's how that works sometimes. And I want to see Danny come off the bench for at least a pinch hitter yesterday.
Right.
But I didn't. I guess he was like, nope, we're not doing that. Anyway, I get frustrated with a lot of Cash's decisions this year, and it's been this year more than any year I think I can ever remember because I'm a huge Kevin Cash fan. With lineups, Curtis Meade playing instead of Aranda. We haven't even talked about Aranda. God, I love watching that guy play. Mm-hmm. I love watching him hit. I won't miss an at-bat. He's so good. He's so balanced. He reminds me of, I talk about Tony Gwynn. I talk about Rod Carew. Those guys from left side that just they track the ball so well and they seem to hit it on the barrel every single time. And I think, that guy needs to play every day. I don't care if it's a lefty, righty, octopus, ambidextrous. I don't care. Let him play. And the same with Simpson. I would put him at the top of the lineup. Let him learn center field. You know, you ain't going to learn sitting on the bench, and let him go. But that's just me. I'm impatient. I want to see these young guys play, and I think we got a lot of good pieces. And when they sit them down, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, let's go. I want to see Simpson play every single day, but I know there's a lot more to it than that. So
those decisions are only going to be made harder because you have Johnny DeLuca coming back from an injury, hopefully sooner than later. Jake Mangum, who really popped and splashed in his first month as a big leaguer. He's coming back sooner than later. There's going to be a real logjam in the outfield, especially, and some tough decisions are going to have to be made. And I think juggling the lineup, it's a good problem to have, but it also causes some frustration when it doesn't work out. Because when it doesn't work out, that's the 2 runs and 1 runs and shutouts.
And we've seen a lot of that.
Way too often.
Yeah. All right, what else is going on in the Rich Hollenberg world? Breakthrough sportscasting. I know you're pumping that out there. You're helping a lot of youngsters get into the world of sportscasting.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. We're coming up this June. It's going to be my 20th cohort that I've run. Very blessed, knock wood. We've sold every one of them out. We have over 200 alumni who are in this sportscasting community. And now we're starting to just look at how can we grow? How can we touch more people and impact more people? Not just people who are, laser focused on getting into sportscasting. Maybe you're just curious about hearing from people in the business who you look up to and you admire. So there are some events that we're planning that are coming down the road. We had our first one last month. Laura Rutledge headlined that. She was fantastic. I don't know if you know her at all.
Yeah, a little bit.
Girl,
she's been on our show.
Don't hold that against her. But I've known her. Worked with her at ESPN, and she's just an absolute gem. Congratulations to her. She and the NFL Live team just won their first Emmy, so that was well deserved. But more things like that are coming down the road, and I'm humbled and honored because JP, I know this, and I know our outsized egos notwithstanding, what I'm doing now in the break-in and breakthrough space is going to be my legacy, much more so than any game I call or any show I host. So I'm just glad to be able to do it and give back to an industry that's given me so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. All right. Any good fun trips planned? Any of that good stuff? Places you've been? Things you've done?
The studio is going to be dark, and this is the first time this has happened in the dozen years I've covered the Tampa Bay Rays. Our studio is dark in June for a week. So that means that I am on a forced vacation.
Oh.
And my personal travel agent, Jill Hollenberg, has booked us on a trip to hike Machu Picchu.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. I'm so jealous.
So
on my bucket list. Yeah.
If and when we survive, I will bring back pictures and
Yes.
stories for you.
Yes, we got to get you on the cast after that. Absolutely. That'll be fun. Well,
awesome.
Stay safe on that journey
Thank you.
well. And hopefully see you around the yard soon as well. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right. Great talking to you guys.
The great Rich Hollenberg right there. 4-time Emmy winner, breaking sportscasting. Good stuff.
It's a good dude right there.
Yeah, he's the best.